Alright, this is my evaluation for my short film called Inner Workings. To put the whole thing in short, I believe that my short film is disappointing. Not because, we weren't working to our utmost ability, or not because of, unforeseen consequences. It's just a combination of crunch time and the fact that we're not professionals, and I had raised my standards a bit too high. But aside from that, I think that the project was perfectly fine. It's a short film. It's quite good for my first short film directed. And as far as script writing goes, I think that the story itself is quite good. And the plot itself is also pretty well written, as I have plans to continue it in the future, hopefully. One of the many things throughout the film that I'm not exactly a fan of is the sound effects. And that is because I had to completely rebuild the sound from the ground up because of all of the room noise, all the people talking in the background, all of the audio cues, and a couple of mistakes with recording. There is also the effect of the darkness and the brightness throughout the whole film. In the first third of the film, the lighting is pretty low, and when we tried to brighten it up in post, it ended up quite grainy. Quite a few of our scenes ended up looking terrible with grading after that, as well as brightness with grading being a problem. The ending itself was actually quite heavily altered, as the main character was supposed to be shot by an off-screen gun before it's implied that the main antagonist burns the body. We had to scrap that ending due to the fact that we didn't have any short flash lighting on us. To be honest, we didn't really have any lighting, as well as George not wanting to be doused with water in order to make the end scene look believable. One of the parts of the film I feel is kind of wasted, in my personal opinion, is the fact that I try to hide the story in plain sight, the underlying story in the redacted documents at the beginning and end of the film. By reading them, you got a sense of, who the big bad guy is, as well as the reason why everyone wants this information. But since no one's picked up on it, I guess it's more like the box from Pulp Fiction. No one knows what's in it, but everyone wants it. I think one of the worst casting decisions with the whole acting part, it was myself. Yeah, showing off that self-loathing. Mostly because the character I was supposed to portray was supposed to be this hired hitman who was a semi-professional. You'd expect them to be big and bulky. Maybe not so much. And the idea of the whole film was that you weren't supposed to see my face, but during the chase scene, you can very clearly see my face doing a dumbass smile. with the whole 5 pixels. Yeah, my brother made fun of me for that. The camera quality, as I know, is something that we can't really fix unless we have our own cameras at home. But the college cameras are the best that we can have, so I'm not really going to complain about that. But I think I should start looking at the positives for my short film. Like how, despite being a 5-minute short film, 0 dialogue, 0 music, and 1 good actor, I believe that it's fairly good despite all that. It's still good for someone's very first short film. It's very good for a project short film within the parameters. I feel like I've done what I can. It's pretty good. But I believe that I can do better in future, as I am still learning new things in this course every day. I think throughout my whole film, I think that despite the fact that we had no lighting, we had amateur workers, I guess, amateur cast, and 0 professional ability, we did pretty good. In my opinion, I think that the colour grading is a bit too bright. The footage looks a bit grainy at parts, as well as the fact that the pacing at the beginning is a bit too slow, and the end part is a bit too fast, and you don't know what's going on. But with 5 minutes, you only get so much to work with. There's also the time of which I've foolishly tried to cram a feature film into 5 minutes. One of the many problems that was fixed from the test run to the final version was George's overreacting to the text he gets, as in the practice run he overreacted to the text thinking it was something life-threatening, but in the final version he reacts to it as if it's something dramatic that's happened that he didn't expect, but he's somewhat prepared for. Also, in the production version, we were able to fix the shaky camera problem and the stuck focus reel, both of which are pretty visible in the pre-production version of the practice run. There was 0 colour grading, and the name on the phone was barely legible with how bright it was. There's also the sharpness of the lighting in the production version, of which was literally just phone flashlights propped up on the chair. In the final version, we used those exact same phones, but we put a piece of paper to diffuse the light, despite practically anything doing a better job. All in all, I believe that my film, despite being quite disappointing in my eyes, due to the amount of faith I placed into it, as well as trying to think that I could cram a feature film into 5 minutes. I think that, this was a mandatory failure, really. It's helped me learn that you can't do everything in one day. You have to have some crunch time in order to get rid of certain things that you do not need. Helps you reevaluate what you have with you, as well as Don't ever act in your own movies. Yeah, you'll get bullied for that one.